Hey guys, this is Matt Ferland with Otis Technology. We get some questions in from time to time. One of the big ones we've got is, hey, I got a new gun, what do I do? So we take this opportunity today and do a little video on, it's a brand new gun. What do I do for a break-in procedure? What do I have to do to this gun to make sure it's going to perform for me for today and for years to come? So let's get started. So the first thing I do when I'm breaking in a new gun, I clean everything off of it from the factory. So of course you want to make sure your firearm is safe and unloaded. You're going to want to familiarize yourself with the owner's manual. Make sure you're following their procedures. Even though if you're a veteran hunter or shooter and we know everything, right? No, well, there's engineer guys that make something new that we don't know about. It happens every day. So read that owner's manual, make sure you're familiar with the gun. Hopefully, whoever you got the gun from, whether you went to a pro shop or online, however you got it, the gun fits you properly. It's a caliber you're comfortable with. Make sure your ammunition is what's stamped on the barrel. It's very important. If someone tells you it's an 06, don't just take their word for it, verify it. All the calibers are always stamped on the barrel, so that's important to look. And then on your case head, on the ammo itself, it also is stamped there. So you just double check to make sure. You never want to run the wrong ammo in a firearm. So the first thing you want to do, first step get into, is clean off the exterior of the gun. Take your gun cloth, wipe down everything you can. You're getting all the manufacturer grease, everything off of it. Just make sure, honestly, you're doing this right now just to make sure there's no big dings or scratches or something's broke or whatever. Hopefully you looked it over when you first got it, but you want to make sure in case you have to call the factory or the dealer and say, hey, this gun's got a ding in it or something. So you're kind of protecting yourself by doing this. Also, just getting everything up and starting from a flat base. And then what I would do is run a patch through the gun. This is a 223 Remington. So you're going to run the small patch, a 2-inch patch that we do. And the reason for, one, a lot of companies test fire their guns, and some of the guys aren't the best at cleaning them after they test fire them. Also, if there's any grease or anything like that, any kind of corrosion that got in here, we don't know how long it's sat on a shelf somewhere. It could be a month, 2 months, so you want to make sure there's just nothing built up in here. So you would take a wet patch, some of our FP10, 2 or 3 drops, doesn't have to be a lot. This is just going to mop up anything that's in that barrel. And it should be pretty clean coming out. Brand new, from the factory, you're still getting a little bit on there. So maybe 1 or 2 more passes, basically, just to make sure you get everything out. That just cleans your barrel and makes sure you're good to go. So then I put a little film of FP10 on your bowl, inside the chamber area, on your slides. Just make sure everything is lubricated a little bit, a very fine coating. You don't need to, a lot of people make the mistake of just dumping solvent in there and wiping it around. That actually gums things up over time. So you just, light film is all you need. So I would do that. Just cycle the gun a couple times. Again, this is safe, empty, just to make sure it's not binding, feels smooth. This is going to break in over time. It's going to get smoother and smoother. A lot of people talk about breaking in the barrel. Some people feel like it's voodoo. My own opinion, it's an older procedure that you did when firearms weren't as mass produced as what they are today. The manufacturing processes today, a lot of manufacturers will say you don't need to break in our barrels. They're good to go right out of the box. Some people feel like they want to put their own touch on it, like almost feel like I built this gun so I broke the barrel in so it's more accurate. And if you're into that, it's great. If I was going to do that, what I would do is I fire 1 round, take it out, I clean the barrel again, I'll pull a patch through, I'll pull a brush through, another dry patch, put another round in it, do the same procedure 10 times. Then I'll clean it, break it down, make sure everything is good. Of course, if we're in the shop, I'll use a bore scope, but look through there, make sure everything is good, and you want to look through the back. I don't like telling anybody ever look down the muzzle, really. Then you're gonna come back and you'll shoot like 5 rounds for the next, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then clean it again. Do that another 5, clean it, break it down, and then you're pretty much ready to go. You got, you know, 20 shots in there. You should be good to go. People talk about lapping the barrel and things like that. And unless you're a certified gunsmith and you're going to do that, these firearms today, you don't need to do it. If it's a bench gun and you're shooting super long range competition stuff, yeah, there's some validity to doing a couple things like that. But honestly, for varmint hunting, just sport shooting, target shooting, that procedure with cleaning between each shot and do that is a great procedure to break it in. And also what you're breaking in, it's not always the barrel. We all go and think about that as the barrel, but you're breaking in the action. If this was a semi-auto, there's springs, there's things that have to move and get going. It's a machine, right? So you want to make sure you're getting all that broken in. A lot of shotguns, semi-auto shotguns, if you shoot 2 3/4 light loads right out of the get-go with them, they're going to jam. The first 25, 50 rounds, they're probably going to jam every other time. So run 2 boxes through it, and that's called the break-in also. So it doesn't always think of breaking in a rifle means you're just doing the barrel, but it's actually getting all the action, everything to work. Make sure your safety is working properly on and off, those kind of things with that. And then if you're going to get into, because ammo prices today are so high, I'm going to break this in doing that process with the 10 shots. But you also, let's sight it in while we're doing it. It will move a little bit as you go. I like to sight in with a cold bore, so I'll shoot, you know, those 5 rounds, and then I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to clean it anyways, so it's going to cool off. Your gun will shoot differently from being very hot to cold. So the first shot's the most important, so cold bore is the way to sight in. So we're going to get to do the fun part now of shooting it. So what I like to do generally is start at like 25 yards. It's just close. It's not a lot of variation. I know that 25 will probably get hit where I'm aiming, maybe. But it just, what it depends on, basically, you have the bore line and your scope line. So those are a V. They got to kind of come up and meet. So I'm going to be low at 25 yards. I know that starting out. I should be about 1 inch low. And then if you look at your ballistics of whatever caliber you're shooting, with this 223, 1 inch low, 100, I should be right about even. It should hit there, and then back at 300, I should be right about on, and then it starts dropping from there. So we're just gonna sight in at 25 yards and start. So a little tip I usually do, because I always forget a pen or something like that, is I'll take the spent casing, I look at the target, and I'm about 3 inches to the left and 3 inches down. So I'll take the spent casing and just put it on the target. So when I shoot the next time, I'll mark where that spot is with that casing, and it's just easier for me to visualize what's going on right in front of me than keep looking down there and trying to remember where each shot was. So that, if you don't have a pen, that's kind of what you'll do until you knock them all over, and then it's kind of done. So right now I'm 3 inches left and 3 inches down, so I've got to make an adjustment with the scope. So your adjustments on your scope are up and down and left and right. They call windage. So you'll make those adjustments. Make the adjustments. At this point, we're going to clean again, go through, take the barrel out, and you just go through this process each time 10 times. So we just shot our first round, and now we're going to clean again. Again, putting the patch on. This is a 2-inch patch. You're tying your knot to make sure you get 360-degree coverage all the way around, pulling that through. I'll put 3 or 4 drops of FP10. So you can see just from one shot what you're getting out of that. So at that point, I'm going to run a brush through, appropriate size caliber what you're shooting. This is 223 brush, 22. And I'm going to run that through, just break up some of that carbon. Now, how dirty it is depends also on the ammunition that you're shooting. So premium ammo will probably burn a little cleaner. So you pull your brush through, and I'll pull another patch through, and then we'll shoot again. And you're going to do that 10 times. That way there you know everything is out. You're trying to just loosely break up that fouling of carbon so it's not affecting where you're hitting too, because we're trying to do two things here. We're trying to sight in and break in. And it's not just the barrel, we're getting the action and stuff. So if you see carbon building up or the first couple shots, you might take your patch and just clean that out. Just keep everything tidy as best you can. So let's shoot it again and see what we did. So the first shot was about 3 inches to the left and 3 inches low. I made the scope adjustments, dope if you will. So everybody uses that term, dope, military sniper movies, everything. It's data on a previous engagement. There's a little interesting tidbit there. Okay, we're going hot. So we're about 2 and 2 now. So we're working in the right direction. I'll make another scope adjustment, walking it in until we're on the bull. Right now, you shoot the second shot, you're gonna do that same cleaning procedure and just keep doing that. So when you get to 10 rounds, you're gonna pull the bolt out, break everything down and give it a real thorough cleaning and then start that 5-round procedure that I talked about. Should be doing it. Going hot. Yep. It's right there. That was me. God, that was terrible. So you've got her dialed in. You're about 1 inch low, 25 yards. You're gonna go out to 100 and shoot there. Depending on what you're doing with the gun, if you're shooting, you know, if you're deer hunting with it or something, maybe you want to be right on at 100. Small, easy adjustment when you're at 100. If you sight it in 25, you're taking your variability out of it pretty much. So that's why I do it close up like that. So now we've run through our 10-shot string, one clean, one clean, one clean, go through that. Then you did your 2 5-shots, so now you got 20 rounds through it. So again, if you're done, you shot your box of ammo, you're gonna wanna put the gun away. So what you've gotta do, again, is clean the bore, same way you've been doing. You should be pretty good at it now. You've done it a bunch, but you're gonna go with a wet patch, then your bore brush, then a dry patch. Make sure there's nothing on the patch. If that's the case, then put lube on there, your FP10, and you're just gonna wet the bore going through. And that way it's preserved. You're not gonna get any kind of corrosion or anything like that built up in there while the gun is being stored until you're ready to go out again. Also, when you did your breakdown, I would take the bolt out and you're gonna clean your bolt face. Just make sure there's no carbon or anything built up on there. Give that a quick lube with your FP10 just to protect that too. It is steel, you can get corrosion on there. And then you're gonna put that back in. Put your bore reflector in there, store the gun. Good to go. If you guys have any comments about this video, please put them below. Follow the links for other products that we have. And keep shooting, keep practicing, and buy more guns.